What is this? This is the w.Lav made by DEITY. How much does it cost? Approximately $100. It uses the Microdot adapter system so that you can adapt it to other wireless audio packs. It's got an ultra flat response for filmmakers that want the lav outside of the shirt. So now the lavalier is under my shirt. Is there a big difference? Does it really matter? What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. Do I recommend it? Yes and no. It truly depends. I'll see you at the bottom line. Done. Roll that intro. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. So today we're going to find out whether or not the DEITY w.Lav is going to be the right lav for you, potentially to upgrade and or replace your existing lavalier mic. Now, DEITY did send this out to me for my unbiased review, so without further ado, let's get started. Coming in at $100 or $110 depending on which version you decide to get, you get a nice carrying case that houses the lavalier mic itself, the adapter, the styrofoam wind muff, a much more dead cat-like wind muff, some duct tape, some sticky pads for the Rycoat stick-on wind muff. Two features that caught my eye in terms of the w.Lav is the fact that it uses the Microdot adapter system. So what this means is, let's say you bought it with the DA35, which is more for the Sennheiser. It's basically the 3.5mm plug. And let's say down the line, you suddenly upgrade your audio system and now it suddenly accepts a different type of plug. Well, the great thing is that there are additional adapters you can purchase so that you can still use the lav that you know and love without having to switch over completely to another lav system. So I love that they're using this to allow you to take this lav with you, and basically, no matter how you upgrade your system, you're always taken care of. The next thing is that it has an ultra flat response. What does that mean exactly? Well, basically, some lavs are meant to go under your clothes, and they color the sound a little bit by raising up the treble because the treble doesn't quite get through the clothing as well as deep rumbly voices. So after you record with something like that, it's going to sound more flat and even when you bring it into your editor. Well, this lav is meant to be worn on the outside of the shirt. So whether you're doing corporate, lecture, or any other situation, ENG style news gathering where the lav is clearly visible right here, then you're going to get a flat response and you're not going to get a shrill in terms of the higher frequencies. Now, I do have a cheaper lav that does have this type of design, so let's take a listen. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. So what's the bottom line here? Who is the w.Lav actually for? Now, before I go into my reasonings, I do need to preface this in saying that this lavalier mic is the most expensive lavalier mic I own. I don't have other higher end or similar budget lavalier mics to compare it to, so please know that my reasonings are based on that limitation. Not only that, I'm in a non-sound treated room. I don't have a high-end recorder, so I can't necessarily perform some really detailed tests that you would normally find on Curtis Jude's channel. So just know my reasonings are going to kind of sort of negate this stuff because I simply just don't have the tools or the products to actually do a comparison. So without further ado, when it comes to filmmaking, we got your broadcast or corporate lectures, stuff where the lavalier is generally shown. We have event videographers, our filmmakers doing weddings and stuff. We got YouTubers, and we have narrative filmmakers. So let's go through each one. If the bread and butter of your filmmaking is corporate stuff, lecture stuff, where this lav is showing up, chances are you might have gone with a Sennheiser G3 because that is just a crazy workhorse of a wireless audio system. If you need to replace your lav because of wear and tear, then it generally comes in at $130. So this thing is $30 cheaper. And if you are on a budget or you can't necessarily hear a difference between this lavalier mic and the Sennheiser ME2, then this could be a nice option. Not only that, if you do change your wireless belt packs, simply purchasing a $40 adapter, depending on which system you go with, it's nice to know that this lav is just going to go with you, and now you have both adapters. And let's say somebody does bring their extra Sennheiser G3, but you don't use that anymore, but hey, you still have the adapter and another set of these w.Lavs, so no big deal. Screw it on and you're good to go. If you're a wedding filmmaker, assuming that the groom or the bride does not care, or the pastor does not care that the lav is showing, then again, you might already be using something like the Sennheiser G3, and therefore if you do need to replace that ME2, that's the budget option. If you're using something like I am right now, the Rode Go, then that's kind of up in the air, because there are other lavs that you can plug in that will work just fine. But if you do want an extra bit of quality, then you can go ahead and go with it. Wow, go with the DEITY w.Lav. YouTubers, this is where it's a yes and a no. If you're a solo operation like me, you guys have heard me talk about my really cheap $15 lav and how that essentially did exactly what I needed it to do, and it was good enough. A little EQ here, a little adjustment there. Not many people are going to really know the difference. But if you start getting to become a very large channel, whether it be something like Linus Tech Tip, where he has like a huge team of people behind him, specifically somebody might even be in the audio department. If they're coming at you and saying, listen, your voice is doing something weird with this cheap lav, there's another lav out there, or this is our budget, what's our budget? You can start getting into the higher end to get a little bit more quality, because you do have these team of editors, these people that say, hey, if we got this equipment, this will save us time. We don't have to EQ. It's going to sound good already based on how your voice is with a flat response. Whatever it is, it might be something worth it to you. Maybe not. I don't know. That's something that's completely going to have to be based on your ideas of what sounds good to you and your needs. Lastly, when it comes to narrative filmmakers, because of this ultra flat response and the lav is meant to be on the outside of the shirt, this comes into question. Is it going to affect your narrative filmmaking? Well, let's put it under the shirt real quick and let's take a look. So now the lavalier is under my shirt. Is there a big difference? Does it really matter? And well, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. So at the end of the day, I can't necessarily give a defining, definitive answer, because it truly depends on what it is that you need. What's your budget? What does your ears love to hear? And whether or not it's actually going to grow with you in your filmmaking kit. So, but if I had to look at the things that I love and whether or not I personally think it's worth it, having used the Sennheiser G3, my friend's Sennheiser G3, I have seen the lavs eventually fray and they'd had to get new ones. That being said, saving $30 is saving $30, and I believe the w.Lav is a perfect replacement for it, and therefore I can, not spend more money than I have to. And I love the Microdot system. While I don't foresee myself jumping to another audio system anytime soon, I do like the idea that this lav can grow with you from system to system. That's something that it's just good ideas in terms of future investments. Now, in terms of the ultra flat response, I do think that this sounds much better than the high shrill that I usually got from my other lav, which was the Olympus. And I remembered that when I used it, I always bumped up my bass a little bit to counter it. So I do love that the ultra flat response is here and that I can continuously use it for my YouTube channel. And hey, that's it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decisions, I would truly appreciate it if you check out my Amazon affiliate links down below. Again, this costs nothing extra to you. It just gives me little compensation so I can continue making videos like this for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down below. I will get to them as fast as I can. And until then, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.